third of the season, and the games are coming fast and furious. 10 matches in just over 30 days for the Whitecaps to secure a postseason berth. They kick off their efforts tonight against Carolina, who's firmly on the rails in the upper reaches of the league. But home is where the heart is, and where the Caps hold a winning record. Vancouver, Carolina, the battle is next. Whitecaps kicking off a tough stretch of the season, and they do it here on Save on Foods, Vancouver Whitecaps Soccer on Shaw. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Swangard Stadium. The Whitecaps have 4 games in their next 9 nights, and they started all with this home-and-home set with the Carolina Railhawks. The Railhawks are within striking distance of first place in the USL, just 3 points back of the Portland Timbers. Whitecaps, meanwhile, are in a tie for 7th place and that all-important final playoff spot. The Whitecaps have made up some ground. A lot of that was solid play at home. Whitecaps are outscoring the opponent 16-10 here at Swangard Stadium. But for all the success they're having up front, they're having trouble on the back end. The Whitecaps are allowing almost 1.5 goals per game. That's their worst total since 2002. And defense will be important tonight. The Railhawks have already scored 28 goals this season. For more on tonight's match, let's head now to our play-by-play crew of Peter Shad and Alan Arrington.
You know, Kristen, for as long as I've known Alan Arrington, he's had one pretty simple philosophy: don't change your back four, and that's been really tough for Tater Torgerson this year.
Well, it has been tough for Tater. He's not really had any options but to do that with the problems that he's had. But I honestly believe that the back four has to be settled, and when I make subs in my games in my team, it's never the back four unless it's a real serious injury. I try and substitute everybody else, but you need that consistency at the back. They need to learn to work together and develop as a unit, and I think that's where the Whitecaps need to build tonight. They have to start afresh.
We'll get to the Whitecaps back four in just a second. For the Carolina Railhawks, very different lineup coming here. They're missing some key players, but one player that they will count on is centre back Mark Schulte.
Yeah, Mark Schulte, he's been around the league a little bit. He's a good centre back. He's very experienced. He's good in the air. He's good with both feet, and he's a bit of an anchor at the back for them tonight. And he's a good player, and a player that is always steady and dependable.
Luke Kramelmeyer started his USL career with Portland. This is now his 3rd club, and he's settled in nicely in the Carolina midfield. Bit of a buzzsaw, good passer and good tackler. Watch for him as a familiar face for the Railhawks. As for the Whitecaps, well, the last time we were on the air, we had the lightning storm and 2 cracking goals from Marlon James.
Yeah, Marlon James really did well. There's the first one. It's an absolute stunner. One of the goals of the season, in my opinion. But he just looked dangerous that night, and the second goal, I believe, is a header coming up here, and he does well, heads it down, gives the goalkeeper no chance. 2 good goals, and when he's on his game and they get the ball into him, he's always capable of scoring goals.
That's not really the concern. It's the concern that these 2 guys are going to have to deal with tonight. Sean Pejic, who's coming in to play alongside Chris Pozniak, a totally new back 2.
Well, they are, and I think that it's like a pre-season for them. It's they're thrown into the fire really quickly. Sean Pejic is an under-21 Welsh international. His uncle, I believe, was Mike Pejic. Played many years at Man City. Got good pedigree. He's an experienced player. He'll come in, and I think he'll be coming in and be quite confident. On the other side, Chris Pozniak has been here and gone, and now he's back again. And we know what he's like. He's a good player as well. But these 2 have to get some chemistry together and learn to work off each other to make sure we get a good partnership.
Let's hear about that partnership from Chris Pozniak. He's standing by with Kristen Reed.
And Chris, defense has been a bit of a bone of contention for this team. What do you have to do to try to cut down that number of goals against?
I think just get back to basics and to try to do the individual job correctly, and try to preserve a 0 until halftime and take it from there.
How important is chemistry on the back line, especially when you have new faces that you're trying to incorporate into the team this late in the season?
It is important, but it's really nothing new in this league because of the dense schedule. There's always people dropping out because of injuries and suspensions and things like that. So it's nothing new that we have a new sort of back line.
We appreciate this. Good luck tonight.
Thank you very much, Kristen.
Lots of Chris Pozniak before the Vancouver Whitecaps and Carolina Railhawks. Stay with us. Kickoff is coming up next.
Beautiful 19-degree evening for soccer. Save on Foods, Whitecaps soccer here on Shaw. The Carolina Railhawks in town as we get set to kick off. Hi, it's Peter Shad alongside Alan Arrington. Absolutely ideal conditions, the pitch in good shape, and the Whitecaps posing for their team picture. as they try to get back on the winning track and get back to 500. They'll need a couple of wins in a row to do that. It's the first of 2 in a row against the Railhawks. They'll play in Kerry on Tuesday as Dave Ganter patrols the pitch. He's the man in the middle from Edmonton, as we have a quick look at the Carolina formation. Starting with the Patterson in goal. They alternate their goalkeepers here. Eric Reed is the backup. And a very different lineup from what they will normally see back home in Kerry. Mark Schulte, we mentioned off the top, is the skipper. He'll pair alongside Tollison. And look for a Ukrainian striker named Budny to play up front alongside John Cunliffe. As for the Whitecaps, well, their defensive rotation continues in front of Jay Nolly, Sean Pedgick alongside Chris Pozniak, and Taka Hirano playing at left back with Wes Knight at right back. Jordy Lyle having a problem with his thigh, so he doesn't figure in. And we see that it'll be Chin and Nash in the center of midfield. Kalfan, the Tanzanian player, comes in and plays at right midfield. There's the goalkeeper, Caleb Patterson, wearing the number 1 jersey. Born in Tennessee but raised in Australia, so he has a very interesting accent. And then at the other end, Jay Nolly, who's pretty much gone the entire distance for the Whitecaps, as Jay Nolly has been the ever-present in front of the Southsiders to start things off, as he'll defend the south goal to our right. And Jay Nolly trying to improve on that record, as well as the Whitecaps. It'll be the Carolina Railhawks to kick off with Dave Gantar, the man in the middle, Cameron Blair and Kevin DeLiba from Langley on the far side, and the 4th official, Andrew Foster. And we are underway as Pedgick gets his first touch as a Whitecap. Gordon Chin looking for Marcus Haber, and Tollison for Carolina. Looking forward to seeing Sean Pedgick. Alan, you talked about his bloodlines and his pedigree. U21 national for the Welsh national team. That's no laughing matter. And his uncle, a very solid player in his career.
Yeah, he's obviously had a bit of influence, I would guess, from his uncle, but he's played at a good level. I think he was at York City as well. You know, anywhere in the Football League, I think you're playing at a decent level, and he's training every day. He's a good professional, and to come here is a bit of a bonus for the Whitecaps.
Haber steals after a poor pass in midfield. Haber trying to keep possession. Nash. Kalfan plays wide right, gets the pass from Knight, stepped on the ball momentarily. He was scouted in Tanzania when the Whitecaps were there. And then it's hammered into midfield. Pozniak. And Jay Nolly will get another touch here.
I'm just trying to see how Carolina shape up. It looked like they had one up front, but there's a second player pushed on. It'll be interesting. I think they might just come and sit in a little bit and see what the Whitecaps have to throw at them, and keep it tight for a while and then try and break out. It looks like the number 33 is the lone striker up front for now. Number 7 is joining in to try and give him some support every time he's played forward.
And 33 is Budny, Andriy Budny, and he's Ukrainian born. And he was having a little chat just beforehand with John Cunliffe. Not sure how his English is, but they were having a great discussion in the starting lineup. And it's not the usual pairing, as Carolina's left a lot of players back at home.
Yeah, he's a big boy. They've got some height up there, and here we go to the first set players. A long throw in, looking for that height, trying to put that to use and get something out of this.
And it's Schulte who makes the throw. And I believe the last man on it was Pedgitt. So Schulte will take it again, wearing gloves. The big number 13. Cunliffe shows short. This time Nash clears. Kalfan half clears, and then it's off and out for a goal kick. 3rd minute of play, Whitecaps 0, and the Carolina Railhawks 0, just underway here at Swangard Stadium.
And the Whitecaps basic in a 4-4-2 formation. Terrell Burgess impressed me the last game he played, Peter. I thought he did a good job up and down the wing, and probably one of the most consistent players on the evening. It was a long night that night with the thunderstorms and that, but I thought he set a good standard, and he showed what he's got. He's a good player.
Taka Hirano with the throw, Marlon James with the touch back, and then Gordon Chin, who played in neighboring Charleston from Kerry. so he'll be familiar with one or two of these players. As Jay Nolly sends a right-footed ball diagonally towards Burgess. Neither he nor the defender Shields could get to it. It's off and out for a Carolina throw.
The field is in tremendous condition tonight. It looked really nice and lush, the grass, but it's nice and short, so it's a player's field tonight. It's cut really short so they can pass the ball. It's not going to be held up, so it should make the pace of the game a bit quicker. And just a good temperature to play in as well. It's not too hot, it's not pouring down with rain, perfect conditions.
Lowry. Boudny gave it away. Burgess couldn't find James. James tries a long effort from almost 50 yards away, and that's no problem.
Sober up, Marlon James. What are you thinking from there? That's a long way out to try and catch the goalkeeper.
And then straight off and out for a Whitecap throw. Of course, the players from Kerry will be very familiar with a good pitch. The Railhawks WakeMed Park may be the best pitch in the league. Certainly this is the best expansion franchise in the USL in a long, long time, and helped out a lot by that stadium of theirs, and also the training facilities are right around the corner and surrounding the stadium field.
Peter, the first time I went there was with the Y League many years ago, and I thought it was actually a turf field. It was in such good condition, I thought it was artificial. And then when we got on it and found out it was real grass, I couldn't believe it. It's the best soccer field I've seen in North America. And it was immaculate.
They treat it that way too. They don't let anybody on it, that's for sure. As Wes Knight gets a chance to throw the ball in long for the first time. He's about 7 yards off the corner flag, backs right up to the rope. And from the Carolina area, launches it in. Calfan down for Knight. First time cross, right-footed in the box. James just couldn't get there ahead of Schulte. Here's Gordon Chin. Winds up and has a crack. Good save by Patterson to knock it wide. And it's the Whitecaps' first corner of the match.
Well, there was only one thing on Gordon Chin's mind there when he got it, and it certainly wasn't to pass the ball. He was going to smack that one at the goal. There was no doubt about that. Under a bit of pressure then, closed down. He got a good strike away, and the goalkeeper really made that look a bit more difficult than it should have been. But good save nonetheless to force a corner. But well done, Gordon Chin. Good strike.
Steve Nash Sports Club, Whitecaps corner from the far side as Nash left puts it in, nodded away easily. Only as far as Chin, who lobs it back in. Flag stays down. No, it didn't. It's up on the far side from Kevin DeLiba. And minute number 6, first offside, and our first corner.
Well, I'm just saying how well Gordon Chin did there. And I think on that one, when it's played out like that, I think the ball's either got to be struck at goal or it's got to go wide. To play it back in the middle, I think you're asking a lot for the players to get turned and get at it. But he's done a good job, Gordon Chin, since he's come in. He's a little buzz box in midfield, isn't he? Works very hard, and I think he's one of them players like Jamie Lowry years ago was an unsung hero. He just gets about his business, wins the ball, and gives it to Martin Nash. And when he does that, he's very effective. I think he's been a real asset since he's joined the Whitecaps this year.
And every once in a while chips in with a timely goal maybe, and that's what Gordon Chin is certainly looking for. He's had a couple of strikes this year, hasn't found the back of the net just yet. And off and out it goes as Watson knocks it off the legs of Takahirano. 2 quick out-of-town scores to pass along, significant in that Portland's winning streak continues. 4-1 winners in Rochester. Montreal 1-0 losers in Puerto Rico. That helps the Whitecaps out in their playoff chase. Whitecaps helped out last night too by Minnesota winning in Miami 1-0. So the Whitecaps with a little bit of help from some of the teams around them in USL 1. Nice pass to the top of the box as Cunliffe was muscled off the ball by Burgess. Calfan charging down the right flank, cuts inside. He's a natural central midfielder, but they've got him playing wide right because they're a little thin on the right side. Vincente Arce not dressed in this game tonight. Lyle Martin is struggling. And of course Justin Moose is still injured as here comes Takahirano inside for James. Shields up nicely against Schulte. And James with a little bit of room to touch back for Nash. Calfan spreads wide right. Wes Knight, who's also pretty familiar with some of these players, having grown up and played some collegiate soccer in the Cary and North Carolina area. Good turn by Boudny and then gave it away to Nash. And foul's actually called against Chin. First foul of the match here in minute number 8.
Yeah, I think Dave Gans are trying to let play go on there and give an advantage, none given in the end, so he's called it back. Quite right, I think a little bit of a niggly foul from Gordon Chin there. The Whitecaps early on here trying to spread the game and go side to side. There's the little tackle from Gordon Chin. It wasn't too bad actually, but Dave Gans obviously saw something wrong.
Watson looking for Kradelmeyer, appeals for handball on Pozniak, not given, and then Nash thumps free left-footed for James. Schulte slipped as James charges him down. Patterson with a tough ball to deal with, but clears neatly with his right foot to midfield. Budny with a flick, but the flag goes up, and there's Carolina's first offside.
Yeah, a little bit slick there. I don't know whether it's been watered the field, but it's a little bit slick, and the defender just having a bit of a slip there. And Marlon James really bearing down on the goalkeeper. I always tell my strikers, push in, get in and do that, because you might just get the goalkeeper a little bit of a shock and a scare, and miss kick it, and you're in for a chance.
Pedjic, flick from Haber. James carries on, and then hammered high and clear by Schulte. Nash shapes up underneath it. Cunliffe with Budny on the chase, and Budny's got some wheels, and that's good work by Pozniak. Then Hirano. Nash neatly for Burgess. Burgess maybe hung on to it just a bit too long, but the Whitecaps do get possession back, and Jay Nolly will take over here in the 10th minute. Still scoreless at Swangard Stadium. Whitecaps coming off a couple of tough losses. The 2-1 loss here against Charleston. We might get a chance to look at that cracking Martin Nash second half goal. And then the couple days, actually the night before, they lost 1-0 in Portland. The runaway Portland Timbers, who are just absolutely owning USL 1 this season. Patterson. No challenge for Knight. Calvin. And then back to Jay Nolly. Pozniak. And Hirano left-footed. Ball swerving away from Burgess and forcing Shields to nod it into touch. And Burgess thought about taking it quickly, and now he'll leave it for Taka Hirano.
And really, Carolina have left one player up again, and I think they're trying to flood the midfield a little bit, get another player in midfield, and then try and attack on the break.
Good cross by Hirano, and good effort actually by Calvin, who first time left-footed that straight into the chest of the defender, and then a left-footed cross charge down. Calvin gets it back again and wins a corner on the far side.
Well done, Calvin there. He's won a corner. Thought he could have got his cross in a little bit earlier there and had a bit more danger about it, but I'm always happy with players whether they get a cross in or get a corner out of it. You're always going to get something that way, but they must get crosses in. It's the most important part of the game for a winger, get balls in the box.
Steve Nash Sports Club at Whitecaps corner from Martin Nash. Again in the sunlight on the far side, left-footed. Drills it low. Little flick back from Haber and cleared off of Burgess and out. Or was it off of Burgess? Yeah, not apparently to the referee. So the Whitecaps get possession back through Taka Hirano. 25 yards up.
Not a lot of movement from the Whitecaps up there. There's not a lot of options to play that ball to.
Burgess, nice right-footed swerving ball into the danger area, falls for James, and it just rose on him. And Taka Hirano a bit fortunate to get that ball back, and then Burgess with an interesting swerving right-footed cross. And James nearly got on the end of it, but it's
that's
over
a
now.
decent cross in from Burgess there, and I think James just caught leaning back a little bit on that one. He's got to get his body a little bit further forward, keep the ball down, and get the ball on target, make the goalkeeper work for his money.
West Knight with another long throw coming from the far side. As he's staring into the sunlight. Decent throw, and James got on the end of it and directed it over. As you saw Marlon James climbing high, just couldn't get that one down.
Well, that's a terrific throw in there. I mean, it really is. It's into the middle of the 18-yard box, just inside the penalty spot. And I think the players have to react a bit better than that and get on that and get the ball headed down. That is as good as a corner.
Marlon James looking for his 9th goal in all competitions this season as Patterson gets set to put the ball back in play. Right-footed goal kick into Whitecap territory. Up goes Pozniak. Good little flick there by Lowry. And did nicely to sidestep Chin. And he gets it back. Got Watson alongside him. Shields making an overlapping run. Decent ball too to Shields, the defender. Lowry again chips into the penalty area. And good job by Pedjic, who
nods it off and out for a Whitecap or for a Carolina throw.
Yeah, Pedgick looks quite comfortable there. He's using his body to get in the way there and just, bump the player away a little bit to get a bit of a better header. A little bit of experience coming through. Looks quite comfortable. Certainly not intimidated by the occasion. He's played in probably bigger games than this, so it shouldn't be a big deal for him.
Played at Wembley Stadium in May, actually. It couldn't have been too bad. Long throw. Again, it's Martin Nash on the end of it. Kramelmeyer tried to touch down. Woodney with a strike. It took a deflection. And straight into the hands of Nolly, who thumps it straight downfield. Marlon James got on the end of it, but couldn't keep it. And now Schulte with a cheeky little back pass for his goalkeeper.
I think when Marlon James gets that down, he's on his own though. He needs a bit more support, and I think Marcus Haber has to get up and help him, or certainly Martin Nash, the midfield players, need to get up and help him, so when he gets a touch, he's got somebody to play it back to. And I thought he was just exposed a little bit, left on his own.
Good play there by Pozniak too, to force it off of the legs of Kramelmeyer and out. Takahirano with the throw in as we played a quarter hour. Whitecaps 0, Carolina Railhawks 0. Save on Foods, Whitecap Soccer on Shaw, and seen around North America on USLlive.com as Haber keeps the chase up, but back pass there, and no problem for the goalkeeper Patterson as Tollison dealt with that. Rusin gave it away, and West Knight inside for Chin. Checks off the ball nicely. Buzzing forward. Haber with a little touchback. Calvin. And good read there by the Carolina defender. And again, it's Lowry, who just left it a little bit short for Schulte, but no problem for Carolina. And that's good defending again by Pozniak as he stepped up. Chin. Nash back for Hirano. Burgess, who was excellent in the lightning delayed game. Got the goal on an own goal basically, but set it up with a really good corner and then set up Marlon James for that easy header in. But before that, he had lots of good crosses as well.
Yeah, he had a good night that night. What you're looking for as a coach in players is consistency. And he's got to step up again and give the same type of performance as he did that night. And early spot, he's really, any time you're in a position here on the field, there's 11 players at least waiting to take your place. Somebody's trying to take your place. You've got to turn up every night. And I think he needs to have a little bit more about him tonight from what I've seen so far to equal what he did the last game.
John Cunliffe just having a word there with referee Dave Ganter, as Nash just couldn't get it past Lowry, who tried one right-footed. Got a good 3 yards wide of Jay Nolly's near post.
Well, Martin Nash a little bit sloppy giving that one away, and the strike could have been a little bit more dangerous. He's not caught it quite right. He's got a little bit on it, but really not caught it in the centre of the ball, and it's swerved off a little bit harmlessly behind the post for the goal.
Good header away there by Brad Rusin. Whitecaps get the throw in front of the bench, occupied by Tater Torderson, who's sort of having a very casual look around. Can't be disappointed. I think his team has basically had a little bit better of the possession, and maybe the only chance so far falling to Marlon James. And so much movement in that Whitecap back line, especially at center back when you think of Justin Thompson and Marco Retta and Wesley Charles and Luca Bellisomo, and they just haven't been able to find that combination. And in both of their championship years, they brought in players. Charles, of course, in 08.
I think the experience factor at the back is huge. And I think, I remember they brought in, you say the two players,
Suarez
from Chivas came in and did a terrific job. He was a little bit different the way he played, but the experience and his authority at the back made it a lot safer for the Whitecaps.
And that time, the Whitecaps were a little bit fortunate as Cunliffe steps into one. Pedgick blocked it, but Pedgick was caught a little bit off guard there as the ball was played over his head. And now the Whitecaps come charging back and win a throw on the far side.
And then again, Peter, when they brought Wesley Charles and I thought shorted up again, a little bit of experience, it's huge at the back because you feel that much more confident with the back four being steady.
Look at that effort!
And that's Calfan took it in and hit one with his right foot, and that wasn't too far away, actually. That was a good strike.
I'm sure Tater Tortoise will be encouraged by the fact that his player was confident enough to have that from that distance, and it had Patterson at full stretch, but just a couple of yards wide of the far post. Again, Calvin scouted on the Whitecaps preseason tour of Africa, and what a great opportunity for him to get in and experience a different culture and certainly get a chance to show his skills here in USL 1. On the chase right now, and Whitecaps will get a throw in, and again it's West Knight on the far side. Minute number 19, looking for our first goal. James, good turn, went for a tumble, and now the Whitecaps will take the free kick. As James was
once again, I think Dave Gans is looking for the advantage, but I think Marlon James is saying, no, we'll have a free kick here, thank you very much, and we've got players who can score from this distance, and they certainly have. Martin Nash on the ball, looks like the favourite to take this, and he's hit them from here before. He can certainly put a bit of pace behind it, and if he gets it on target, it'll be hard to deal with.
Well, both Pejic and Pozniak are drifting forward. Pozniak now just making a run to the edge of the penalty area, back and forth. So there's some size loaded up at the back post. Burgess is also back there. Let's see if Nash goes for goal or if he angles one towards the penalty spot here. Martin Nash, top of the box, good touch, took a deflection, and Patterson was there to keep it out. There's a little bit of pinball inside the Whitecap or in the Carolina penalty area.
It wasn't a shot from Martin Nash, it was more or less a ball played into the box there, and caught them a little bit unawares. You know, it's up for debate, Peter, when the ball's that far out on a free kick and the wall is lined up outside the box. You know, there's a lot of people saying, and I sort of tend to agree with them, do you need a wall when you're that far out? Because in training every day, if you shoot from that distance, the goalkeeper's going to save it. And I think you put the wall there, you block the goalkeeper's view, you obstruct his view. And I think everybody puts a wall up because that's what they're expected to do. But it's up for debate, whether I'm right or wrong or not. I just don't know if you need a wall when they're that far out.
Takahirano with the foul here in minute number 21, and so Carolina with a chance to swing one in. And it's going to be John Cunliffe left-footed now to swerve this into the box. Schulte's up from the back, as Carolina with 7 players just at the edge of the penalty area. Good swerving ball. Nolly with 2 fists. Not cleared. Poked on target, and Nolly was there. A little bit fortunate, the Whitecaps.
Yeah, that was a good chance for Carolina there. The ball was bobbing around at the edge of the 6-yard box, and he just needs a toe poke to put in. Terrific ball in. Jay Nolly under a lot of traffic there, and that just needs a poke and it's home, but a little bit fortunate there, the Whitecaps. Jay Nolly coming for that, deciding to punch there, and there's 2 players pressurising. No foul, referee's quite right. And again, a little bit fortunate to get away with that.
Budny couldn't get on the end of that. Kramelmeyer nods down for Lowry. Left-footed ball cut out by Nash, and then Chin with Calfan on his right, but he plays it through, and Marlon James on the chase. Marlon James in the box, and it just ran away from him. His first touch took the ball a little too far away, but a decent ball by Gordon Chin.
It was a very good ball by Gordon Chin, and I think the centre-back to me was always a favourite for that, but Marlon James's pace just got him away from it. His first touch let him down a little bit. It was a little bit too far in front of him, and he missed the opportunity to get the shot on goal. And the goalkeeper did quite well coming out, but great little ball in from Gordon Chin.
Another long throw opportunity from West Knight, who certainly was attracting interest from the Carolina Railhawks, but decided he wanted a bit of an adventure and found himself in Vancouver. And as he launches it through, Burgess nodded away by Tollison, and now it's Chin. Calvin cuts to his left, rolls back for Nash. Little chip high through. I'm not sure who that's going for, but it's a goal kick. As we remind you that a great way for kids to see Whitecaps players up close and personal is through a Whitecaps youth soccer camp, where players make special appearances on the last day of the camp. Whitecaps youth soccer camps are on now in locations throughout Metro Vancouver, Vancouver Island, and the Okanagan. You can get more information at whitecapsfc.com/camps. Patterson gets set to knock this one in. We're just a little over halfway through the first half and still looking for our first goal. Pretty important game for the Whitecaps as Charles make that Knight knocks the ball into touch. Gilkerson throws long for Budny. Budny rolls backwards. Lowry. Little chip through. Pozniak took the touch, and now he's going to have to chase it. Did it go over?
I think it's gone for the throw-in.
Grindelmeyer, nice touchdown. Ball whipped across and out for a goal kick. If you need to check a match score or find out who's on top of the goal scoring charts or catch the latest news, do it all by logging on to uslsoccer.com, the league's official website, uslsoccer.com. Play with passion. Minute number 24, Whitecaps 0, Carolina Railhawks 0 from Swangard Stadium in Burnaby. It's Peter Shad with Alan Arrington. Glad to have you along with us. Save on Foods, Whitecaps Soccer from Swangard, as it's a diagonal ball played neatly to Calvin. Couldn't get around his defender. Calvin carries on the chase. And then Budny looking for that one, but it's the Whitecaps who come up with it through Nash. West Knights. Nash turns nicely. Diagonal ball headed down by Shields. And Shields will go back to his goalkeeper. And there's a foul against Nash as he knocked Lowry down.
His heading ability has never been one of his strong points, Martin Nash, and that was quite evident there. A little bit of a foul.
Kramelmeyer. Good touch back by Hirano. Knight to the feet of James, right at midfield. James, who's very deep for Chin. Pozniak in his second tour of duty with the Whitecaps. Through a ball for James, nice ball too at the top of the area. Touchdown for Chin, all the way back for Nash. Is he going to have a go? Lays it wide for Calvin. He's got Knight overlapping. There's the cross, and James! Rebound!
It's in.
That one's in.
He's not give it. Yes, he has.
Or is it offside?
No, he's given a free kick for kicking the goalkeeper, I believe. But that was quite a sequence of events there, whether it was a rebound in, back, and whether he's took it out of the goalkeeper's hands. We'll have a look at the replay here. But the ball's in, he's bunched it out, and he's had a bit of a kick at the goalkeeper, but it looked like a good goal to me, that actually. Let's have another glance at that.
Good save the first one. I don't know how he misses the second one. And is it a handball maybe he called?
It might well be that. Or he's
because the ball's over the line.
Yeah. But no goal, they've not given it, so it's still not scoreless here at Swangard Stadium, but certainly the best chance of the game. And Marlon James a bit unfortunate not to get one on the score sheet for the Whitecaps here.
Well, he was in a great position, and you have to say, Calvin with a fantastic cross to pick him out, very much like Burgess's cross a couple of weeks ago against Puerto Rico. And how Marlon James didn't score is, well, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare for the big striker as he still looks for goal number 9, and now Lowry may get booked for that as he grabbed Gordon Chin and basically threw him down. Dave Ganter not going to be told to give a yellow card, so it's just a warning, but he really grabbed Gordon Chin, who may have gone down a little bit easily actually.
I thought it was he's pulled him down, and I think Chinny's gone down. That's fine, it's a foul. I think Dave Ganser's done okay by not yellow carding him. He knows where he stands, he said no more. I think he set the tone there. I think a lot of referees are too easy to flash the cards out and spoil the game. So I think fair dues for the referees, done all right tonight.
One thing about Dave Ganter is he always talks to the players, and he referees with a smile on his face. He does enjoy doing it.
Actually, Peter, he seems to have a real good understanding of the game, and I mean that not the refereeing side, but he understands the game as a player side, and whether he's played or not, I'm not sure, but it seems like he's played the game because he talks to the players, he tries to let them play. He does have a smile on his face, and he's easy to play along because he's enjoying the game. He's not like he's too authoritative and in your face, so he's got a good personality for the refereeing job.
Martin Nash calls for the free kick, and here's another one of those walls way out. As too far to shoot, but certainly whipped in, headed back into the danger area. Martin Nash is allowed to let it drop, and then he just thumps it left-footed away, and Tollison will be the first man back. As the number 4 sends a left-footed ball forward. Flag stays down as Pozniak knocks it into midfield for Shields. right-footed diagonal ball. Out comes Nolly, and boy, he had to be decisive there. A good pair of fists by Jay Nolly. And now Calvin charging away across midfield. He's got acres of room down that right flank. There's a right-footed ball. Here's James, and again, just a little too far ahead of the striker, who acknowledges the cross, but those two seem to have a pretty good partnership right now.
Well, a good cross into the box there, and the saying that I use to my players when you're in that position where Marlon James is throw your eyes at the ball. Just throw your eyes at the ball. Get yourself, you might get a touch, and even if you think you can't get it, they're the ones that go in the top corner. They're the ones that fly in. So I thought he could have done a bit better there and hadn't attempted that.
James spins his man nicely, and the Whitecaps win a free kick as James was pulled back. Martin Nash again will head upfield in minute number 30. And this time there won't be a wall, well, maybe a two-man wall at least, as Nash will try to ping one in once again. Right-footed, a little too far for everybody, and that one's going to go off and out. Did you know that the Whitecap organization runs many of its community programs through the Whitecaps Foundation? And this year, the foundation granted 80 Whitecap camp scholarships to youth throughout Metro Vancouver, made possible by their partners at the Boston Pizza Foundation. You can find out more about Whitecaps Foundation initiatives at whitecapsfoundation.org. Minute 30, Whitecaps 0, Carolina Railhawks 0. And the goalkeeper, Caleb Patterson. Caleb Patterson Sewell officially, but he said, just call me Caleb Patterson. He's okay by that. As Pejic nods it into midfield. Straight back in from Gilkerson. Knight. Calvin couldn't get around his man. And that's Gilkerson right at midfield. And the Whitecaps win the throw.
Well, the game needs a bit of a goal here to set it on fire a bit. It's not been a bad pace, and there's been a few chances. The Whitecaps have had the better of the chances up to now, but still no goals yet.
Lowry, Shields, and Schulte. Lowry's been impressive so far as Kramelmeyer drifts out to the near side touchline. Harano for a moment, and then Lowry chips forward. Lowry must have some friends or family in the area because he was the only player to have tickets allocated to him, so he must have somebody in the crowd that lives out this way.
Well, it won't be the famous Jamie Lowry, who used to play here for many years. He used to have a lot of friends and a lot of tickets, and a terrific servant of the game for the Vancouver 86ers at the time. But Jamie Lowry, a World Cup player in the Hall of Fame, great little player. And you know, we mentioned Gordon Chin earlier on, a bit like Jimmy Lowry in his work effort, his work habits. And Jimmy Lowry was an absolute gem of a defensive midfield player. Won every tackle, won the ball all the time, give it to Jim Easton, who finished a few off. So we had a great combination. Now
living in Victoria, as we take a quick moment to check in with the Icelandic tactician Tater Torderson, standing by with Kristen Reed.
Thanks, Peter. Coach, saw the fourth official talking to you. How did they discuss the call on the Marlon James goal?
Well, they meant the keeper had the control on the ball, and we have no chance to see it from here, you know, so I just wanted to know what was going on.
What about the play of your team so far? A lot of new faces out there on the pitch.
Yeah, there are new faces. I think we have still not got the control on the game that we would have liked, but we have, although created some good chances and should absolutely have scored 1 or 2 goals. But we just have to continue fight for creating these chances, because I think the goal will come.
Thank you for this. Good luck.
Thanks.
Peter?
Well, I'm shocked that Andy Foster, the fourth official, said that the goalkeeper had control of the ball. He never had control of that ball. And the Whitecaps, I think, were very unfortunate not to be up 1-0 on the great chance by Marlon James, where he had 3 kicks at the Cat, as Harano throws in from the near side touchline for Haber, who's been somewhat quiet. A lot of off-the-ball running, but he just hasn't had a lot of joy here in the first half. The Vancouver native and Dunbar boy, Lord Byng graduate. And Carolina coach Martin Rennie has to be pretty pleased with his squad for an away game. They haven't been completely outplayed. And they'll have a lot of their regulars back on Tuesday when these two teams meet again in Cary, North Carolina, as Calvin charges forward. Burgess, nice overlapping run from Taka Harano. Harano closed down by Kramelmeyer. Burgess with the through run, carries on, but Schulte's the first man there. Watson back for Shields and right-footed into midfield. Budny gets pushed over by Pozniak. Cunliffe. Here's Kramelmeyer with a bit of room down the right flank, closed down by Pejic. Into the box it goes, nice chest down. Here's Budny, and it's blocked out for a corner. A good chance, and probably the best for Carolina here in the first half.
Yeah, real good chance that. I thought the Whitecaps were a little bit slow in getting back to defend that situation there, but a good ball played in, and a lot of time to bring that down really, and then to pass the ball, and he's got a little bit too much space for my liking. That needs to be closed down quicker. You've got to deny anybody a shot. They're lucky to get away with a corner.
Great dive by Pozniak to block that shot from Budny after Cunliffe did a great job to get control and charge it down as Kramelmeyer. Cunliffe, left-footed strike, drifting wide to the far post in minute 34.
I'm surprised the Whitecaps only sent one player out there when they had two men on the corner, and they played a 2v1 and got a decent cross in. I'd like to see two players come out there and deny them playing 2v1, get a 2v2. That way you know they're going to play it in the box, and it's not going to be as good a cross from the position where they play it when they do it with a 2v1. I'm surprised there's only one player out.
Takashi Hirano in front of the technical area where Martin Rennie is patrolling as, again, Haber double teamed there. Lowry comes up with it. Closed down by Nash. Watson. Shields, right-footed up the line. Pozniak on the chase. And he'll just nod it in touch. Both these teams wearing Umbro tonight, and with a deep-rooted 85-year history in the sport. Umbro is the longest-standing football brand in the world, headquartered in Manchester, England, where it's going to be a very interesting year for Premiership. If you want more information about anything to do with Umbro, it's www.umbro.com. As City and United will start their rivalry this season. City winning 2-1 in Blackburn, 2-0 in Blackburn today.
I watched the City game and I thought they've got a lot of stars, but they're not a good team yet. They need a lot of work, similar to what we talked about with the two centre-backs here. They need a lot of work to blend together, become a good team. And I'll tell you what, when you get all that money and you spend it on good players, you've got a better chance of doing it than you have to develop players, that's of a lesser ability. So it might take a year or two, but I think they will be in the top 4 or 5 within a year or two.
Adebayor scored. Tevez, of course. Gareth Barry joining the squad. And off and out for a throw-in off Carolina. The Whitecaps will get a throw deep. The big result really was Arsenal hammering Everton 6-1 today. Minute number 36 as West Knight will launch this one into midfield. Haber came back for it, but it was Tollison who got there first, and now Chin buzzing away through the center of midfield. Takahirano tried to get around his man, wins it back. And Chin, good body shape there, and back it goes to Pejic. Sean Pejic wearing the number 4. Little touch back for Calfan, and away goes Chin again. He's got a little bit of room with West Knight overlapping. Nice little ball down. West Knight, right-footed ball, takes it to the end line. Can he cut it back and wins a corner at least? After a nice little charge up the right flank from Chin and West Knight.
Yeah, Chin played it into West Knight. I thought West Knight could have had the opportunity to get a cross in. First time, just wrap your foot around that and curl it into the box. Decided to take an extra touch to get it to the line. That's not a bad thing either. The closer you get to the line to cross it, makes it more difficult for the defenders, but you've got to get a cross in.
It's a short Steve Nash Sports Club Whitecaps corner, this time from Chin, who played with Knight again off the corner. It's Nash who's back for it, chips it through, and look at all the space Knight has now. As West Knight, can he pick somebody out? Whips it across and headed away beautifully. I think it was nodded away by the big number 24, Brad Luzin. And Pozniak is down and holding his knee, and that's not encouraging.
That's not a good sign, Peter. I think they went into a tackle, and I don't know whether he's come off second best. It looks like it, but it was a good, strong tackle, both players. I don't think there was anything malicious intent. Let's have a look at that, but in he's come, he slid in, and I don't think there was anything malicious, but he's caught him there, and a little bit painful. He'll have to run that one off for a few minutes to get back to normal.
And a very deep breath from Tater Torderson below us here, because they just cannot afford to have any more injuries or challenges with members of their back line.
Well, Peter, I find that hard to believe these days. I mean, when I was coaching a few years back in Vancouver, centre-backs were 10 a penny. You had 5 or 6 centre-backs waiting in the wings trying to get into the spot. Now you can't find a centre-back for love nor money. and just shows how much the game changes over the years. Centre backs in Vancouver, they were, you know, 10 a penny.
It's not the sexiest position for young players growing up, but it's probably one of the most important positions on the park.
Well, it's a game of discipline and responsibility. You know, you've really got to have a lot of intensity. You've got to be a lot of concentration. You don't do a lot of fancy stuff, but you're the mainstay at the back. So there's a lot of discipline and responsibility involved in that position.
Cunliffe, through ball, Budny trying to get on the end of it. Pozniak seems to be okay. And now can Kalfin keep it in on the far side? Doesn't. And unfortunate, because he sure had a lot of room on that far side, as it'll be John Gilkerson to throw in. And Pozniak came to the rescue here. A great clearance away by the Whitecap number 6. And
Golden chin there, little terrier. He's only a little lad in midfield, but my God, he gets his tackles in, doesn't he? He doesn't mess about. He just sees legs and feet and ball and take whatever he comes first.
Nolly with a throw, looking for Kalfin. Well read by Gilkerson. Kalfin gets it back though. He's had a couple of good crosses and a strike at goal as he charges forward. Nice ball for Knight. Knight trying to get outside his man, cuts inside onto his left foot, then onto his outside, brought down. Is it inside? No, it's not.
He's given it outside. That was right on the line, that. He might have landed inside, but it might have been fouled outside. It'd be good to see the replay on that. But the referee was quite adamant that it was outside when the tackle took place. Oh, it's just a little off camera there. It's hard to see, but Dave Gansler's given it that the tackle occurred outside, even though he landed inside the box. And he's given it has to be a direct free kick from there for a foul.
Well, it's as close as you can get to a penalty without being a penalty. And the Whitecaps with 3 men standing off the ball, including Hirano, Nash, and James. Nash looks like he's backing off, but this is one of those ones where you may see a ball played square. You've got Burgess standing at the edge of the penalty arc. Nash is standing in acres of space. And you wonder if Hirano might just roll it square with Nash shaping up. Minute number 41.
He's got to put this in with a bit of pace. You just need a touch if you get it in the pace.
Hirano hammers it and loops it over the back post.
I think when the back four, when the defenders for Carolina are pushing out like that, they're leaving about 7 or 8 yards, maybe 9 yards at the back there. I think Hirano's going to put the ball in behind there with a little bit of pace and get everybody turned. And the back four, the Carolina players have a chance of scoring in their own goal even. But you must get it in behind him. You've got to get everybody turned.
Follow your Whitecaps when they're on the road, including this Tuesday by logging on to USLLive.com, the league's official online video channel with exclusive features and on-demand matches, highlights, and much, much more. USLLive.com, and we certainly say hello to the Carolina Railhawk fans tuning in here, watching their team on the road. And these two teams will meet up again on Tuesday at beautiful Wakeman Soccer Park. Pedgick appealing for a handball there, but the Whitecaps carry on with Kalfin. Pokes it through for James, who does get there first. Back it goes for Nash, who has to go to carpet, but couldn't come up with it, and now it's Shields. Inside for Lowry. Kramelmeyer on the chase. Hirano got a touch in. Burgess battling for it. And Haber there to intervene nicely. Again, Kalfin. And then straight up and out off the big lad in the middle, Brad Rusin. About 3 minutes left in the first half. And the game looking for its first goal. The Whitecaps will look forward to attacking the south side in the second half. As Jay Nolly on the end of this one. Hirano. Schulte. Pozniak. And then off Lowry and out.
Just the ball there from Taka Hirano up front to Marcus Haber. It's a ball, it was a little bit off, a little bit too far to the left-hand side for him. But when they get it at the full-back position, there's only one striker to hit. The second striker doesn't come across, and it's much easier when you've got 2 strikers to hit than 1. And I think they need to work on that a little bit, the Whitecaps, to get the strikers coming across together so there's 2 options to hit. And it makes it much easier for the full-back to play it forward and gives the strikers a bit of an option to play off each other and get a few little runs going.
Cunliffe. Budny. Lays back for Lowry. Watson, cheeky little ball played through. Cunliffe, could he get it down? Cunliffe, great tackle. And Pedgick with a big intervention in his penalty area as the Whitecaps under some pressure here in the late stages of the first half. Watson chips it through, and Budny, is he onside? Yes, he is. Andre Budny in the penalty box, and Nolly with a good stretch to pull that one down.
Well, the Whitecaps are a bit fortunate there. He had a lot of time on that ball, and in all honesty, I thought he could have had a strike there, but it won't sit down for him. A little challenge there, good challenge. And Pedgick came in and did well on that occasion.
Kramelmeyer. And Lowry finding Watson. Burgess got a little piece of the ball. Haber couldn't win it. And then Shields back to the last man, the skipper, Mark Schulte. He spent some time with the Minnesota Thunder last year. Also honors in USL 2. Flag goes up on the far side. Are you the BMO Ultimate fan? Log on to bmosoccer.com for your chance to win tickets to the Whitecaps game on September 13th. BMO is a proud sponsor and loyal fan of Vancouver Whitecaps FC. Late stages, 30 seconds to go before any stoppage time. Andy Foster just sorting that out right now at midfield. As Jay Nolly sends a right-footed ball into Carolina territory. Tollison with a good header. Fans looking for a foul. Gordon Chin going in, but Watson was there first. Budny. Watson. Two number 8s battling away, and Martin Nash comes up with it. Nash, left-footed ball, looking for Calvin on the far side, but that's taken away. Gilkerson. And in comes Nash, Chin, I should say, and away comes Carolina.
There will be a minimum of 1 minute time allowed.
Budny straight at Jay Nolly. 1 minute of stoppage time to be added.
Good run there by Budny and a good strike, but Jay Nolly got his angles right, made it look easy, patted it down and just gathered it up.
Marcus Haber. Schulte over there. Schulte will just shield it off and out for a goal kick, or will the Whitecaps get a free kick?
He's given a free kick for that hold. It's okay to shield the ball off, but you must be within playing distance to be able to shield it off. If the ball's too far away and you're shielding it, that's classed as obstruction. And I think that's what he's given here. He's pushed him off the ball, and quite rightly, a free kick in a dangerous area, and in the last seconds of the first half. So there's a great chance for the Whitecaps to go in 1-0 at half time.
And we've seen some great service from Terrell Burgess in this area as he sends a right-footed ball back post. Up goes Calvin with a header down and wide, and that might be the end of the first half action.
Well, a great ball in there, as you say, from Burgess. It's a well-struck free kick. It's a little bit over the top to the back, but Calfan's there and really should do a little bit better than that. He's got to turn his hips around, get his body facing and get a header. I think that's, there's a bit of a challenge. There's somebody near him and he's having a bit of a go, but I think you've got to do better than that at this level.
Or sending it right back across the middle where Big Marlon James was standing. And very quiet response from the Swangard faithful as the halftime whistle sounds here. Whitecaps 0, Carolina Railhawks 0. Whitecaps with the better of the chances, although there were some scrambly moments for the visitors. And I'm thinking the Whitecaps will be pleased that they haven't conceded a goal in the first 45 minutes. And will now get set to attack the south side in the second half and perhaps maybe put a little bit more pressure on their visitors.
Yeah, I think any time you can go in with no goals against at half time is a bonus. I mean, the idea obviously is to score more goals than the opposition and win, but if you keep a clean sheet, you've got a much better chance of winning. I think I'm a bit disappointed in midfield with Martin Nash. I don't think he's had his greatest game tonight. He needs to get on the ball a bit more, and he's launched a few missiles. He needs to keep possession.
Time to go to the field where Kristen Reed is standing by with Marlon James, our Setanta interview at the half.
Thank you, Peter. Marlon, I have to ask first about that goal. Looked like it had gone in. How would the officials explain it to you? It sounds like they felt that you kicked it out of the keeper's hands.
But actually, it was automatically in the goal because the linesman already reached half the field going back down, which indicated it's a goal. But the referee disallowed because he said I kicked it in after it was in. So. Well, it's not a goal, but we just got to keep pushing and continue playing how we're playing and working hard.
Obviously frustrating to have that happen, but you had a lot of opportunities, and you've got a new player out there with you as well, Nazir Kalfin. Maybe tell us a little bit about him. Are you impressed with his start?
Yeah, you know, you just got to keep working, and I'm really pleased for him that he get into the game and to the system of Whitecaps, and hope that he continue doing in the second half, and just that the team continue playing as how we play in the first half.
Is there a lot of urgency for this team, knowing where you are in the standings and where you are in the season?
Yeah, because we know that the next 3 games are important game coming up.
Gee, we're sure
and we gotta continue playing hard and working hard.
Thanks for this. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Thoughts of Marlon James. Goal disallowed in that first half. A 0-0 draw so far between Vancouver and Carolina. Stay with us. We've got a feature highlighting a trio of rookies who are turning heads here in the Whitecaps on Save on Foods, Vancouver Whitecaps Soccer on Shaw. Welcome back to Save on Foods, Vancouver Whitecaps Soccer on Shaw. Well, Whitecaps have had their share of turmoil this season, but there have certainly been some bright spots. And one of those has been a trio of rookies in Tyler Burgess, Wes Knight, and Marcus Haber. Now, 3 of them are best of friends off the pitch, and that chemistry is certainly translating to play on the pitch. Are you the BMO Ultimate fan? Log on to bmosoccer.com for your chance to win tickets to the Whitecaps game on September 13th. BMO is a proud supporter and loyal fan of Vancouver Whitecaps FC. Stay with us. Upcoming an interview with Director of Professional Teams Greg Anderson. Stay with us. You're watching Save on Foods, Vancouver Whitecaps Soccer on Shaw. Welcome back to Save on Foods, Vancouver Whitecaps Soccer on Shaw. So for a 0-0 draw at the half, we're lucky to have with us Director of Professional Teams Greg Anderson. And Greg, I wanted to jump right in and talk about the transfer window for the USL. Closed on the 14th yesterday. How busy was this team before that deadline?
Well, it was a pretty busy week for sure. We had some people leave, some players leave over the last couple of weeks, so we were busy trying to fill their spots. We had a number of things we were trying to deal with, like the signing of Sean Pedgick and trying to get the CSA to deliver us some ITCs with the African players that we signed as well. So it was a busy time. We were looking into a few other things that didn't happen as well, but that's the way it goes. So.
Now, changes still can be made. Your official rosters aren't locked down to the 28th. So does that mean just basically changes can be made with the PDL side?
That's right. That's one of the things. We can also do a deal with the Canadian team because the window that closed yesterday was the international transfer window. So that was transferring the playing registration of any player outside of Canada. So theoretically, we could still trade with Montreal or Toronto. But the other thing we could do is we could sign players that are out of contract now. So if they were out of contract before the close of the window yesterday, they're still eligible to be registered before this time. But I don't see us doing too much in that regard. I think it's more what is our roster going to look like between the players that are on our PDL roster and on our first team roster.
Well, what about some of the players that you did bring in? A couple of the players you found on your Tanzanian preseason trip.
Right.
How special has it been to now bring them into the fold?
Well, it's been great, and it's been fun to watch Nazar in his first half of action with us, and he looked good today too. So, yeah, it's exciting. It's been a really good learning process for us because we'd been trying to bring in some international players, actually some players from Africa before our trip. From one player in particular from Cameroon for a residency program. We ran into a lot of challenges around all of the logistics on the ground. So, actually having been in Tanzania and meeting the people in the federation and the people at the clubs that we're actually dealing with, and knowing a couple of the agents on the ground made a huge difference because just identifying the player is only the first step in the process. You need to go through visas and international transfers and then the logistics when you get the players here. So knowing the people that you're dealing with there is a huge benefit. So.
And this team has done a pretty great job of recruiting international players. What about recruiting Canadian players? What's the biggest challenge there, and how important is it to be bringing Canadian players to this team?
Well, it's one of the biggest things that we're focusing on, and we're really focusing obviously on the development of the Canadian player through our residency program, which is where we're putting a whole lot of effort, is developing the next generation of young Canadians. A lot of the current established Canadian players are in good situations in Europe, and that makes it a little bit difficult to get those kind of players back because they're on such large contracts. So really we're looking at the next generation of Canadian players for our club for next year, building towards MLS. the players that are sort of 21, 22, and then again controlling our own destiny by developing players through the residency program.
Well, thank you for this. I'm sure you have a lot of work ahead of you, obviously, as this team moves toward MLS, and we appreciate you catching us up.
Thanks very much. Pleasure.
That's Director of Professional Teams Greg Anderson. As mentioned, we have a 0-0 draw so far between Vancouver and Carolina. For some highlights of the first half, let's check in with Peter Shad and Alan Arrington.
Yeah, you know, Kristen, despite 0-0 scoreline, when you look at the highlight pack, there were a couple of really good chances, and we have to have another look at that Marlon James disallowed goal because from our standpoint, it looked like it might have been a good goal. But let's have a look through. And the first chance came for Gordon Chin, who actually had a crack from quite a ways away.
Yeah, Gordon had a good crack here, and the goalkeeper's done well to take it around for a corner kick. There's Martin Nash with a free kick, and again, a little deflection to make the goalkeeper work and earn his money.
And here's the chance for James. 3 saves, and it didn't look like the goalkeeper had full control when he finally knocked it into the back of the net.
The only thing I can say there, Peter, is it looks like he's in his hands and he's kicked it out of his hands, but was it over the line before he kicked it out? That's the big question. We've got the benefit of the replay and the referee didn't. He decided no goal, and you know, that's the way it stands, but it looked like he did have a bit of a kick it out of his hands.
Carolina had a couple of chances as well. Jay Nolly snuffing that one out with a pair of good fists, but a little flick there in the back end. Look at the chance here for Cunliffe, who got it down, and a great stretch out there. Pejic, who saved a goal perhaps on that occasion. And then on this nice little chest down by Cunliffe, and Budny with the right foot. It was Pozniak diving in. And those are probably the best two chances for Carolina in the first half. BC Hydro Power Smart halftime highlights. As far as the province's statistics, no scoring. And I think the Whitecaps with a little bit more possession and certainly more shots on target. They did have 10 in total to Carolina 7, and in corners 3-1. 0-0 at the half, Swangard Stadium. Second half kickoff of Save On, Whitecaps Soccer on Shaw, coming up next. Save On Foods, Vancouver Whitecaps Soccer on Shaw from Swangard Stadium on a beautiful night in Burnaby, British Columbia. Thanks for watching not only in the Lower Mainland and around the province, but also on USLLive.com, especially those fans up in Cary, North Carolina. And your Railhawks have acquitted themselves quite nicely. They'll be back against the Whitecaps on Tuesday. Whitecaps fans will be able to watch that on USLLive.com. No changes to the orange-clad Carolina Railhawks as Patterson takes up the south goal to our right. Jay Nolly in the north goal to our left. Dave Ganter counting up the players. Whitecaps all in Umbro white will kick off this second half. I don't see any changes amongst the home side either. There were a couple of knocks, but nothing of any consequence. And we are certainly happy that there are no thunder or lightning clouds off in the distance here tonight, because that was quite a delay.
Yeah, that was a long night, the last game we had. It was way past my bedtime. And we'll have to speak to Nathan about some overtime for that game, Peter. That was a long, long game. That's one of the longest games I think I've ever been at. It was like watching Sunderland play, it was that long.
I think it was a 2-hour delay in the end. And just when it was clicking down on the clock, they had to have 30 minutes between thunderclaps. There was a late thunderclap. The good thing was there were some goals after the long delay, and a couple of real nice ones too by Marlon James. He was looking for his 9th. Thought he had it in the first half, but he was denied. With 3 kicks at it too, as Pozniak nods it down, and Nash plays it forward to Burgess. Haber, probably run through the lineup for you in case you've just joined us. Burgess playing wide left, Marcus Haber and Marlon James up front, Nash and Chin in the middle, and Navid Kalfar, Nizar, I beg your pardon, Nizar Kalfar playing wide right as Haber take the ball, but they're going to call that back for the previous foul. At the back for the Whitecaps, West Knight, Chris Pozniak, Sean Pejic, the new one, and Taka Harano, as we see the shirt tug on Marcus Haber. Carolina has Patterson in goal with Shields, Tollison, Schulte, and Gilgerson at the back. Watson, Rusin, Kramelmeyer, and Lowry through midfield. Cunliffe and Budny up front. As Nash, the Whitecap skipper, drops off here at minute number 47, and a right-footed ball into the penalty area. James, there's a shove in the penalty box.
Yeah, Marlon James not too happy with that decision, but I think there's a bit of a push as the ball was played in from Martin Nash.
Cunliffe, left-footed ball, and Kramelmeyer on the chase, but Taka Harano is there first. Tried to take it around the corner. Kramelmeyer did well to win it back. Cunliffe. Gilkerson. Tollison. And then back to Schulte, who's wearing the captain's armband for Carolina.
I thought they were gloves, Peter. I can't believe he's wearing gloves on a night like this.
I think that's to improve the long throws he's been taking, as Cunliffe has it wide left, cuts inside on Knight. Little chip through for Watson on his left, then on his right, and a good effort for Cunliffe, or at least a good opportunity, but it slid along the ground, and Nolly was able to take that, but another opportunity.
He really wasn't shaped up well when he received this ball. It was caught on his feet, and all he had to do was have a bit of a prod at it. He should have done a lot better than that in a position there. He just wasn't aware of his surroundings, and really, he should have done better.
Wes Knight. Easy to spot with the red boots as Tater Torderson asks his players to move.
You know, I was just going to say that exact same thing. Wes Knight's got the ball and the players up front are static. There's no movement, there's no crossovers between the two strikers to try and cause problems for the defenders. It's too easy and too predictable to mark. The strikers need to move off each other and have little crossovers, come and show and look for the ball, and it's a bit too static for my liking, and I think Tater Torderson feels the same way.
Chin, who's had a decent match. Pedjick, who's had a good Whitecap debut as well, has thwarted a couple of opportunities. Of course, he'll want no opportunities here in the second half, and Carolina's already had a pretty good one when Cunliffe was able to get a shot away just outside the 6. As Wes Knight gets set to throw in, as we have a look at Martin Rennie, who's done a very nice job with this Carolina team. 3 years running now as James back to goal. Calfin with a left-footed strike this time, just wide of the near post.
Well, Calfin with a good little take over there, took the ball off. I think it was Marlon James. James holding it up, a little take off, and needs to have a better contact on the ball. But the right idea, and he's done okay tonight, Nazar Calfin. He's had a decent performance. I'd like to see him have a little bit more about him getting at the fullback and get the end product in, which is a good delivery into the box.
That will be Pedjick's best header of the night as he nodded it backwards. Cunliffe through ball. Kramelmeyer just couldn't reach it. Jay Nolly throws down for Takahirano, who will make at least 2 or 3 good darts down the left flank in an attacking vein. And Nash floats it forward, but too far for Burgess. Shields throws in. Kramelmeyer, and then his opposite 7, Nash, thumps it forward. Schulte with the header and out. And let's see if Martin Nash will take this one long. He hasn't taken any long throws here tonight. He'll leave it for Burgess. Quickly for Haber. Marcus Haber, edge of the box, carries on into the penalty area, and then it went off him last, if I'm not wrong. It's corner's given.
It's a corner, correct decision as well, I believe. But I can't believe how much room Marcus Haber had there when he's got the ball about 30 yards out and turned with it. There's absolutely no one near him, and the defenders have to be tighter than that if they're going to play at this level.
Steve Nash Sports Club corner kick from the far side. Terrell Burgess to take, and we've seen him take a couple of beauties in the last couple of games here at Swangard Stadium. And let's see if he could belt one in again. Went to the near post. He'll get a chance to get it back in, and opted to take the throw in. Just a little bit more height needed on that particular effort.
Well, as well on the ball played out. I thought he could have kept it in and whipped it back up his right foot as well.
Martin Nash appealing for dangerous play there, not given. As Dave Ganter puts the whistle away for the moment. Watson, Shields, left-footed ball. Looking for Boudny. James coming back on the ball. Pokes it through for Haber. Back to goal. Overlapping run. Just a little too far for Burgess. He's got the wheels, and he forces Shields to knock out a throw-in.
A little bit ambitious, the ball in behind the fullback there from Marcus Haber. Right idea, but just a little bit too much for Burgess to have to get on the end of that one.
52nd minute, Whitecaps 0, Carolina 0, and Nash now with the long throw. Peter Shad and Alan Arrington welcoming you to Swangard Stadium as the floodlights come in handy here. Patterson easy on the end of this one. A little bit outside his penalty area on the release of that kick. Pedjick with a good header down, and Wes Knight with lots of room to work with. James, good spin, cuts inside. Now he's got some room. Martin Nash is square. There's where the ball's played. Nash scored from out here, and his effort just trickles wide, but I think it's a corner, as it might have just nicked off a Carolina player at the edge of the box.
Yeah, he didn't really catch hold of that one, Martin Nash. I'm sure he'd like it again. It's on his left foot. He's got a good left foot, but he's really stubbed at it, really. Not got good contact. But the goalkeeper really didn't look that comfortable on that one to me, and he's let it squeeze past him, and it must have took a nick, and it's off for the corner.
Steve Nash Sports Club corner from the near side to be taken by Gordon Chin. As the Whitecaps get set to make a substitution, Charles Biquet about to come in. Chin with the corner, curls it out. And there was Pejic too in a good position, but he was just rising a little bit early and then given away. Here's Nash, head down, deflection, and just wide for another corner. Let's see if the Whitecaps make the substitution now.
And I think they want to try and get Charles Biquet in for the corner to use his height in the box, but I'm not sure if the referee spotted that and not allowing him on. He would be a good asset to get in the box for the corner kick, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
Another Steve Nash Sports Club corner from Chin. Floated in this time easily into the goalkeeper, Patterson. And Carolina will regroup. And some good pressure in the early stages of the second half by the Whitecaps. Herano with the header down. Charging forward, Amir Lowry. Little ball square for Watson. Up steps Gilkerson, and that's not the greatest ball. You know, when Martin Nash was rearing up for that shot just a few moments ago that led to the corner, it reminded me of the game last Friday where he scored an absolute cracker. We'll have a look at it in a moment here as back it goes to Patterson, who then just knocks it in touch. Could be one of the USL goals of the year, actually. Martin Nash, who has already had one earlier. Let's have a look. It was Haber who touched it down after a clearance. Chin knocks it in. Look at the little touchdown by Haber, and this is just an absolute rocket. It took a deflection.
Yeah, there's absolutely no stopping that for the goalkeeper. Top corner, postage stamp as they call it, and it looks like it's Marcus Haber who's made way, and Charles Biquet off to his familiar position up front, and look for a few more aerial attacks where he's at his best, Charles Biquet, when the ball's played in the air. And players like him and even Marlon James, they need good crosses in the box for them to get the work done.
That's an Energy Max substitution in minute number 54. Charles Biquet in for Marcus Haber. And it's the first sub for either side in this one. Calvin couldn't get on the end of that with James. That's Biquet who laid the ball off to Calvin as the ball is nodded back into Whitecap territory. Nash sliding. That's taken away, and Shields will clear it just ahead of Burgess. Morano did well to keep it in play, and Burgess has some room now, plays it square, and Calvin has a bit of room to work, tries another long effort, and that's straight out.
A little bit ambitious on that one. I think he saw the gap in front of him, and I think he had a few more yards he could have made up before he struck it, but decided to take the shot from a fairly long distance. I'd say about 30-35 yards, and really never a threat for the goal. He nowhere near the goal.
Other players available to Tater Torderson: Anzu Toure, Kennel Versailles, Lyle Martin, Marco Retta, and Mason Trafford. The backup goalkeeper is Diego. As Patterson gets it back in play, Pejic only as far as Lowry, then Cunliffe, tackled away by Chin. Watson, Rusin, all the way through to Jay Nolly, and now Wes Knight.
I must comment on the two centre-backs, Pozniak and Pejic. They've really had a, I don't want to give them the kiss of death here, but they've had a good start. They've looked comfortable. They've never really been under any great pressure, and it looks like it could be a good little combination with those two. They complement each other. Pejic looks very comfortable, very strong in the air. He's not as dominant as a Wesley Charles, but he does the job.
Burgess into the box. Biquet didn't expect it coming. He probably should have there. It came right to him, and then Chin is pulled down. And another free kick for the Whitecaps in minute number 57. Taken quickly. James trying to get on the end of it, but Nash overplayed it. And Nash looks skywards. He hasn't had a typical Martin Nash type night. He's just been a little bit off as the Whitecaps skipper.
Yeah, he's tried to open the game up quite a lot with a long service, long balls forward, diagonal balls, but not been his best night tonight. But he still competes. He works hard. I mean, he puts a shift in every time he turns up, Martin Nash. You've got to give him credit for that. But sometimes it just doesn't go for him. Tonight seems to be one of those nights, not his best.
It's going to be a nice challenge for the Carolina backline to mark Charles Biquet and Marlon James. Both of them same stature, same breadth, and they both have the same white shirts underneath their jerseys. One has blue boots, one has white boots. That's pretty much the difference between the two. Very similar players too, good in the air, and will be a good challenge if the wingers can find their heads. The Whitecaps could have some joy here in the second half. As Hirano. Biquet pokes it through nicely. Here's James with a bit of room down the left flank. 1v3, cuts in, stays on his feet. Marlon James lays it square, and Biquet had made the run. He wanted it played in front of him, and it's off for a Whitecap throw, but the pressure is starting to come one way, and that's all going to the right.
Well, Charles Biquet, they're very persistent. He's gone down, he's up again. Just the final balls let him down a little bit. They're a little bit behind. Needs to be played in front of Marlon James, but certainly puts the effort in.
Martin Nash will try a long throw now, and here comes another substitution as Anzu Toure is going to take off Terrell Burgess. Here in minute number 59, it's an Energy Max sub. Anzu Toure coming back off that knee surgery, and Terrell Burgess, who has had a pretty impressive run with the Whitecaps over the last few weeks, and Carolina about to make a substitution
He's
as well.
still okay, Terrell Burgess. He's not been as effective tonight as he was in the last game, where I thought he was probably the best player on the field, or one of the best players certainly. So not as effective tonight. Good to see Anzu Toure coming on. He's certainly got the wheels, and he could change the game as well.
Salyu Bundu is on now in the 59th minute, and he's taking off Budny. So Budny out, and Budny's out. And Bundu is on now for Carolina. And Bundu scored a pretty nice goal against the Whitecaps. Turned out to be the winning goal in the team's last meeting in Kerry. We've just reached the hour mark here at Swangard Stadium. Still looking for our first goal as Schulte sends it forward. Little flick through, edge of the box, and Bundu was there, but Shane Nolly got there first. And they'll have to watch out for Bundu. Salyu Bundu.
The game's got a little bit stretched now, Peter. The Whitecaps not pushing up this far, and
Here's Biquet! Great save, rebound, Chin just couldn't get there. Patterson with his third really big save of the night. He had 3 on Marlon James. Again, Gordon Chin charging in and then played too far ahead of Bundu.
Well, that was a good save by the goalkeeper, and a good strike by Charles Biquet. I think he really caught hold of that, and it was too good a shot. If it had been a bit off and to the side of the goalie, might have gone the back of the net, but it was right at the goalie. Made a good save, actually. He held his ground and made a good save, but a good chance for the Whitecaps. I was just saying, the game's getting stretched. The more the game gets stretched, the more chances we're going to have in the game. And certainly evident there. Another long throw here from West Knight.
He's got some targets there, as James just beaten to the challenge there. Kramelmeyer, not a good first touch, as away goes Takahirano. He's got Anzu Toure wide of him. Little back heel for Toure on his left foot, pelts it in, top of the box, and knocked away. Ruson's been pretty steady in the center of Carolina's midfield, and he's dropping off and helped out at the back when he's had to. No foul there as Bundu on the chase with Pejic knocking in the touch. Minute number 62. The Whitecaps is still vulnerable for a potential counterattack, and you always have to worry about that a little bit. Carolina actually nicked a win against the Whitecaps in one of their first games here. I remember Connolly Adosian with a terrific goal, and I believe it was their first game ever at Swangard Stadium, as it runs off and out for a Whitecap throw to our left.
Well, and the Carolina team have had a decent game tonight, but I really can't remember where Jay Nolly's been threatened and had to make any real saves. You know, he's had to come out and collect. He's punched a few, but there's nothing been really major. So the back four, and credit to them, have been fairly steady, and they've not given up a lot of chances where there's clear-cut chances for the goalkeeper to have to work. Looks like another change coming up, Peter. We've got
Lyle Martin, by the looks of it.
Lyle Martin coming on, and he might be coming on as either a right back or a right-sided player with his pace down the flank.
And Palladini coming on as well. He's got some goals in him as James shimmies at the top of the box, but that's taken away as you see Carolina collapsing at the edge of their 18-yard box. And now look out as Takahirano steps up. Nice little layoff. Anzu Ture chips it across. PK!
How did that not go in?
Marlon James is going to have nightmares tonight. As I don't know if he expected it to come straight to him, but that was quite a chance. And BK with a terrific looping header.
Well, BK with a header here, and really it's a great header. Comes back across, it hits the crossbar, and I think he stops playing Marlon James. It needs to be tucked in, and he's got it caught on his feet. What a chance. That's without question the best chance in the game. And coming off is Kazar Calfin, and it looks like Lyle Martin will go wide right and leave West State at right back. Unless they change that, let's see how they line up. But it looks like Lyle Martin will probably go wide right.
Energy Max substitution in the 63rd minute, and Nazar Calfin gets a very warm round of applause from the Swan Guard faithful after his debut. In comes Lyle Martin, and Wes Knight backs up to the track once again with another long throw attempt. Whips it in, this time near post, and nodded away easily by Watson. Nash tried to hook it in. Schulte straight up in the air. Nash following up. Good header back in. Lyle Martin's first touch. And then hammered away.
Sean Pedgick just seeing that off the field, and again he never looks like he's under any pressure. He looks quite comfortable in his game, and he's marked fairly tight tonight. Both him and Chris Posniak, I think, have done a decent job, and let's hope that that's the end of the centre-back problems for the season and they can settle down and have a good combination.
And while the Whitecaps are making their substitution, Daniel Palladini has come in for Carolina as well. I kind of missed who came off for Palladini, but I'm wondering if it was Cunliffe. It was Watson who came off. As Schulte, last man. Left-footed ball forward. Looking for Bundu. Headed down by Knight. Lyle Martin kept it in for the moment, but it'll be a Carolina throw-in. So we've seen some changes now here. Cunliffe. As Carolina threatens. Good job by Knight to keep his feet and calmly play it inside for Posney. Lucen in the middle again there for Carolina, and then Schulte all the way back to his goalkeeper. 65th minute. Are we going to see a goal here tonight at Swan Guard Stadium? The Whitecaps have had almost 2 short goals denied. Marlon James with the best 2 chances by so far, and in both cases it just needed a final strong touch into the back of the goal, but we remain at 0-0. Hirano. And away goes Lyle Martin. And he just couldn't reach it as Hirano tried the diagonal ball.
Peter, I think when the fullbacks get the ball like that, I was watching the 2 strikers and they both made different runs that they're about 25-30 yards apart, and there's nothing for the fullbacks to hit. They're trying to hit the diagonal balls for Lyle Martin to get in. If the 2 strikers can come across and work together, then you've got the option of hitting either one of them as well as the diagonal ball, and it's just a little easier to play.
James. Lyle Martin. Anzu Ture is wide open over on the other side. Knight, and pretty good read there by the Carolina fullback as Gilkerson knocks it away. Whitecaps get possession back again with Chin. Vancouver will be gutted if they look back on those 2 chances and don't come away with a goal here tonight as Ture dances in amongst two orange jerseys. Chin harassed by Pelledini. Nash switches play again, trying to spring Lyle Martin free. And again, this time the ball just a little too far. And twice now, the substitute has not been able to keep it on the park. Cunliffe. Pedgick. He's got some pace to him, the Whitecap newcomer. Toure. Closed down right away, but good overlapping run by Taka Hirano again. 5 Whitecap shirts charging forwards. Hirano chips it across. Schulte there. Hirano gets it back again. Hirano whips it in. Again, Schulte to clear. And Kramelmeyer just couldn't keep it in. The Whitecaps will get a throw from the far side.
Well, a great run forward by Taka Hirano there. He's really done well. He's stretched his legs and got himself forward. And 2 good chances to get the cross in. The quality needs to be a little bit better to get it past that first defender. You've got BK and James waiting there to try and get on the end of it. Just has to be a little bit better of a cross, but well done getting forward.
Toure, he tried to flick it straight up in the air, and Chin was always going to lose that challenge, as Knight has possession in the middle of the park. Down for Hirano. I'm sure Taylor Torderson's pretty thrilled that he has options now on both flanks with Toure and Terrell Burgess, and then on this side Lyle Martin with the newcomer Calfin, who had a good debut. BK has to watch that one go out for another Carolina throw. Or do the Whitecaps? Whitecaps get it. Toure does well inside the penalty area. Marlon James rolls back to Hirano. And a good overlapping run. Can Hirano get the ball in this time? Schulte just hammers it out. Is that going to be a corner? By the looks of it, it will be.
Looks like a corner. Once again, Peter Taka Hirano is making some great runs to get forward, and you know, he's getting into good positions. But the final ball in has to be a little bit better to get over that first defender, just to give Marlon James and BK a chance to get on the end. If they're both good in the air.
Nash with the corner, nodded away, and then Chin made a meal of that one. We're back on the air a week from this Sunday when Miami comes back into town. You saw the graphic just a moment ago. That's our next Save on Foods Whitecaps broadcast as Miami FC comes back to town. A very eventful game the last time these two teams met here at Swangard. Hirano with some good sweeping there as he tucked into the middle, and will play it wide for Toure, who's actually had a bit of a mark here in the second half as a substitute. Anzu Toure, good run by Toure, and he's got James wide. Marlon James cutting inside, back to the outside, and then a great cover by Tollison to knock it away as the Whitecaps get closer and closer here in minute 70.
Well, Toure just made a great run down the middle there, and players were dropping left, right and centre, just a little shift of the hips, and Marlon James cutting in to try and get it on his right foot, then his left, and blocked in the challenge. Just a little bit too much there.
It
Get
was
that shot away quick.
Shields who came back and intervened there. Good play by the Carolina right back. And again, Martin Nash will try a long throw.
And a bit of pushing and shoving in the box. The referee's going to try and sort it out. There seems to be a lot more of that creeping into the game, where corner kicks and free kicks and long throws, a lot more pushing and shoving play, looking in competition.
Martin Nash having a word with some of the fans behind him. Not sure what was said, as Nash fires it to the edge of the box. Easily nodded away. Nash will get it back to the cross. Right footed in, headed away again by Woosen. Down for Chin. Square for Knight. Top of the box. James pushed over his man, and that'll be a Carolina free kick.
Yeah, good battle for the ball there, and Marlon James trying to use his arms to get in behind and giving away the free kick. But is this game going to get a goal tonight? Are we going to have a decider, or are we going to finish up with a 0-0? It's been a fairly entertaining game. There's been chances both sides, but the Whitecaps have had the best chances, 2 in particular where they should have scored goals. But we're still at 0-0. And I think if the game does get a goal, you know, a good 20 minutes to go, and it'll really liven it up, because I think as it is now, it's getting stretched and there are spaces, but both ends it's a little bit wider. Everybody's dropping off a little bit, they're getting a bit tired, but we need that goal just to set the game on fire.
There's only one place to see who's best, and that's USLsoccer.com for all USL 1 and 2 stats, plus PDL news as well. Play with passion, USLsoccer.com, as Carolina makes another substitution here in minute number 72. And it's Josh Gardner coming on. The former Sounder will come on, and I think he's taking off the striker, John Cunliffe. It is. And we saw a couple of impressive performances by Gardner last year here at Swangard Stadium as a member of the Sounders. Patterson, a right-footed ball, only as far as Nash, who nods it right back in. Flag would have gone up. And Schulte will send a right-footed ball looking for Bundu, who's in behind. The Sierra Leone native does well to hold up, pokes it back. Here's Josh Gardner. Cuts inside, Gardner! Oh, terrific setup. The shot left a lot to be desired as it goes out for a throw-in on the far side. We saw Josh Gardner score against the Whitecaps in a Seattle uniform.
Well, he's done ever so well here. Look at that little shimmy. Little Peter Beardsley shimmy, that one. And he's just not caught the ball right. He needs to get his foot wrapped around the outside the ball, curl it into the far post. 1-0 it should be there, but Whitecaps off the hook a bit. And really, I think that's probably the best chance Carolina have had. And having said all that, Jay Nolly's not really had a save to make tonight, but should have done better with that. If he gets it on target, there's problems.
Poke backwards for Rusin, who's just playing in front of the back four, and he's been effective tonight. Nice little header down. Kramelmeyer is offside, and late shot. That'll be a yellow card, I think, or a warning. The referee's done a really good job in not giving out a yellow.
He's a good referee. He's a good referee. Every time we see him, he's always common sense approach to the game. We have him when we do our university games in the CIS, and it's a pleasure to see him when we get him as a referee, because you know you're not going to have any nonsense. The game's about the game and not the referees, and he's really done a common sense job tonight, and hats off to him. I think he's done a great job. Having said that, he might make a mess of things before the end, because referees can do that now and again, you know. But Dave Gansler's one of the best, and I think he's had a terrific game tonight.
17 minutes from time. Nice little flick by James. BK down, looking for Lyle Martin. And Gardner, who's got great pace. Away he goes. Stride for stride with Knight. And good play by Pozniak to knock it into midfield. Great little touch by Nash. And that opens up Gordon Chin. Square for Anzu Toure, who's going to have to chase this one down. And now he's some room to work with down that left flank. Toure with Harano overlapping. Toure holds up, lays off. Harano, left-footed ball, blocked away. He'll get it back again, though. And again, Toure, who's been effective since coming on here in the second half. Right-footed ball this time. Drifting, look at the shirt pulling in the middle of the box. And that'll be a goal kick.
And a good ball in from Anzu Toure there. But what about the run from Taka Harano? He must have run a good 60 yards there just to get in behind and play the ball in. And when he gets there, the actual cross again was disappointing. But great work ethic to get in there and get in behind. And it makes it easier for the player on the ball to have more options to play with. And it makes it difficult for the defenders, because, you know, is he going to play it? Is he going to tuck in? Is he going to come on his own with the guy on the ball? So well done, Taka Harana. The quality of the service has to improve.
Pejic with a good clearance, knocked right back in. And there's Pozniak with the clearance. Lyle Martin will try to stay on top of that one. He's given a shove. Does well to keep it in. Good balance by Lyle Martin. And then Nash. BK's shirt's being grabbed. He's pulled down, and that time it has to be a foul. And while that's happening, let's check in with Kristen Reed, and she's standing by with Marcus Haber.
Marcus, the action just keeps coming. What does your team need to do right now to find the back of the net?
Well, just that, find the back of the net. I think we've been pretty close a couple times. I think Marlon on any other day would have scored at least one of those. So I just feel like we're a little unlucky right now, and we just need to be a little cleaner in front of net, but the chances are coming.
Is this a good sign? This team obviously has confidence and is playing with intensity.
Yeah, I mean, we always seem to play well at home, so you know, we're just trying to get a goal right now. And, you know, we spend most of this half in their half, so hopefully we'll get one.
Let you get back to your teammates. Thank you.
No
Peter?
Less than 15 minutes from time as Toure swerves it into the back post. Pozniak is there. The ball's headed down. It's a corner. Steve Nash Sports Club corner with Martin Nash to take from the far side. They haven't had any real telling crosses yet from these positions. And let's see if Martin Nash can do that now in minute number 77. The Southsiders urging them on. Whitecap players flooding the box. And Nash with a right-footed ball, swerving in, headed straight up in the air by Rusin. Toure back in, but he's called for the foul.
Just a little nudge in the back, wasn't it? A little slight nudge in the back. Dave Gansler's 5 yards away, can't miss it. And all that pressure and all that effort to get forward is given away with a silly little foul. You don't need to give fouls away like that. You've got to be a bit more disciplined and get up and win the ball.
It's Patterson to take the free kick. And for all those parents with a budding soccer superstar, have a look at Whitecaps Youth Soccer Camps at whitecapsfc.com/camps. They're running now across Metro Vancouver, on the island and the Okanagan, open to boys and girls aged 5 to 12. Palladini. Lowry. Josh Gardner. And a good step there by Pedjic. And then played all the way to the backside for Kramelmeyer. Carolina number 7 takes it out, whips it in, and up goes Nolly to reach up against Bundu to snag it down and then quickly distribute to Lyle Martin, who's got lots of room to work with down this right flank. James and BK ahead of him, and James is wide open. He was calling for the ball as he'd made a good diagonal run, and then it's knocked out for a throw-in, and that'll be West Knight territory.
Well, Lyle Martin making that run down the field, you're right. I think if he'd looked up and played it into Marlon James, he's got a bit more space around him there. He could even play a little 1-2 and get it back and get at him. But holding on and running with it, I think it just invites players to come and have a bit of a whack at you.
Knight retreats to the track once again in minute number 78. Can one of these set pieces pay dividends? And that one's a little bit low, straight up in the air. BK underneath it. Appeals for handball, not given, and then hammered into touch once again. The Whitecaps are in Carolina on Tuesday. Catch exclusive match coverage on usllive.com. You'll also get interviews, features, and highlights from the Whitecaps. usllive.com, the league's official online video channel. As Knight hurls it in once again. Edge of the penalty area, Chin there, beaten to it. No foul as Chin comes up with it. Right-footed ball straight into the chest. And that'll be a little bit sore tomorrow for Daniel Palladini. Arano. Wide for Toure. Arano continues his run as Toure cuts inside and goes for a tumble and wins a free kick.
Yeah, he's done well since he's come on, Toure. Just that change of pace causes problems for defenders. I mean, again, tonight, I think we could have seen about 5 or 6 yellow cards tonight with another referee. But I think Dave Gansler, quite rightly, he's given a free kick. I don't think there's any malice or naughtiness involved in that. It's a foul, and he's given a free kick, and they've got the free kick, so there's no need for the yellow card. Common sense refereeing once again, and a good chance for the Whitecaps. It's a good 28 yards out. Martin Nash on it, he has hit them from here before.
Let's see what Nash does here in minute number 80. 10 minutes for the Whitecaps to try to get 3 critical points. Nash makes the run. Square. Gordon Chin has a go and swerves it wide of the near post. It was well done. He had lots of time to shape up and hit that one.
Yeah, he's really not caught in Gordon Chin. Couldn't finish his dinner tonight, could he? He's really not had a good strike on goal. He can strike the ball quite well. He's got to do a bit better from there. Now, I don't know whether that's been planned on the training ground or whether he's caught a little bit unawares on that one and he's had to miss his shot. But he's got to do a little bit better than that for me.
Martin tried to play it first time. Tollison intervenes, then it's chipped through. Away goes Marlon James. Schulte's there. James gets in behind. He's pulled back. Is it a penalty? No. Gantar was there, and he's furious again, Marlon James. He felt as though he was pulled down. We'll get a look at it again here as Marlon James broke through.
It's a great ball through from young Gordon Chin. He's in the box there. He's on the ball. It's a bit of a tussle and a bit of a tug. Actually, I've seen him given for worse than that. But it's a bit of 50-50. Look, it could be a foul against him there.
Well, right there.
And then he's pulled down there.
Boy, Marlon James will not remember this night very fondly. That great chance, 3 cracks at it, and none of them good in the first half. Then the BK header that went off the crossbar landed right on the doorstep. He couldn't nail it home. And the Golden Boot winner in Malaysia
You know, he's not scored tonight yet, Peter. There's still a chance for him to score a goal. He's not scored, and in a striker's world, that's not a good thing. But he's done okay, hasn't he? He's worked hard, he's been around there, his efforts have been fairly decent. He's just not had the run of it tonight. And if I'm the coach, I'd say keep doing what you're doing, son. You're not doing a lot wrong. You're gonna play some games not as well as this tonight, and you'll score more goals. I think he's had a good game tonight.
Martin Nash with a uncharacteristic foul, so just pushed his man over in the midfield circle. Martin Rennie standing off the ball as away come the Railhawks once again. Shields. Bruson. Good job by James by PK that time to come back and break it up. And then Nash looking again for Lyle Martin. Got a touch, but that's going to roll through to the Carolina goalkeeper. In just 8 minutes for the Whitecaps to salvage something here. And they'll be very disappointed if they can't get all 3 points. Wozniak only as far as Gardner. Josh Gardner turns on the Jets, trying to get around Knight, drifts it over the top, and it'll be a Whitecap goal kick. As we invite you to become a BMO Ultimate fan, log on to bmosoccer.com for your chance to win tickets to the Whitecaps match on September 13th. BMO, a proud sponsor and loyal fan of Whitecaps FC. Minute number 83, and a goal kick with Jay Nolly. BK with the flick. James was lurking, but Schulte was there. Chin stretched out a leg, but it's Gardner. Nicely inside. Shields. Amir Lowry, I think, has been very good for Carolina tonight. The number 25 in orange.
He's had a strong game. He's been very consistent all night. Not done much wrong.
Palladini. Inside for Kramelmeyer. Lowry then had his pass knocked away by Lyle Martin. Lowry again. Again, Gordon Chin breaks it up, finds Knight. And he plays it through, and now the race is on, and there's a big shirt tug by Tollison. That has to be a yellow card. And
it
Charles
does,
BK.
Peter, but I'm not too keen on Charles BK telling the referee to give a card. I don't like to see players do that. Let the referee do his job, and the referee won't tell you how to play. I think the referee's quite right. He's done his job, but I don't like to see players asking for yellow or red cards. I think they should be booked for doing that.
In fact, I think you're right. I think if you are motioning for a yellow, you should get booked. Good ball in, and the flag goes up as BK had just gotten a little bit ahead of his man, and it's off and out for another goal kick.
You know, Peter, I was talking earlier about defenders. The game's about discipline and responsibilities, and I think that goes for strikers as well. You see in the Premier League today, Drogba scores his second goal and his shirt's off and he gets booked. That could cost him down the road. That's lack of discipline, you know, and really not responsible. And the same with BK there. I don't think he should be asking for yellow cards for the other team. Get on with the job. Let the referee do his job. He's done a good job tonight. Leave him alone.
First yellow card of the match, too, by the way, to Tollison. Bundu. Gardner. I'll make that Palladini. Cutting inside. Nice little pivot. Good little chip through for Kramelmeyer. Stays on side. And the ball is off and out for a Carolina corner. And this is where the Whitecaps have to be careful now. A loss here would be real trouble for them.
Well, in the last 5 minutes of regulation time, and I say this all the time, that's when goals are scored. That's when the concentration levels go down. And that's when a lot of goals are scored in games at any level. So the Whitecaps need to concentrate, not give anything away. They've done well tonight. They've given goals away in the past. They've been solid at the back tonight. They've got to be really resilient here, give nothing away, and there might be a chance at the other end.
Decent ball. Nolly had problems with it. There was a push in the box, though, and the Whitecaps will have a free kick.
Good delivery in there, but I think a bit of pushing and pulling on the defender at the near post. And the referee again, right on the spot. Correct call, and a free kick for the Whitecaps.
Is there time for a late Whitecap winner? Bruson knocks it down nicely. Schulte plays in Kramelmeyer. It's off him and out. 4 minutes plus stoppage time left to go. Both coaches in their technical area, pacing about nervously. And Takahirano with the throw.
Fans, it's time to get your 50.
Anzu Toure has been quiet in the last 5 minutes. Let's see if they can play him in as he comes and checks off the ball for Hirano. Back for Toure, back to goal. Along the deck for Nash. Nash will switch play. Josh Gardner fully committed himself as the pitch is a little bit slippery, obviously. West Knight, can he serve one up? Cuts inside, carries on, still carries on. Falls to the ground. Toure's all the way over. Anzu Toure onto his left foot. Has a go. Took a deflection. Ooh, that could have been real trouble. As it's a Whitecap corner brought to you by the Steve Nash Sports Club, and some trickery from Anzu Toure. I was just saying he was quiet for the last 5 minutes, and all of a sudden he came to life there.
Well, all the players except for Jay Nolly in the Carolina half of the field now. The Whitecaps pushing on, trying to get it. Having said that, yeah, they've got 3 against 1 at the back. I think one of them can push forward, not a bit more of a gamble. It's one of those mentality things now. Do you want to win or do you not want to lose? And let's hope the Whitecaps want to go for the win. 3 points in home, and you know, they're really needed right now. They need to try and get some in the next 2 or 3 minutes.
Martin Nash taking a long time over in that far quadrant. Not sure what the delay is.
I think it's a pushing and shoving again, and players being a bit silly and around the box. They're jockeying for space and what have you. And I think these days it's overrated, you know. They're trying to block runs and get in each other's way. There's more fouling goes on in the box than there's ever been in the past. And I think the referees have to clamp down on that. They've got to stop that and you know, make them play in an orderly manner.
Can a white shirt get free, in particular James or BK? As Nash will send this in right-footed. Now Dave Gantard drops off and allows play to continue. Martin Nash whips it in, good height, and again off an orange player and out for another Whitecap corner. And this time it'll come from the near side, and Anzu Toure is going to come over and take this.
Good delivery from Martin Nash. That nice, good pace on the ball, a bit of bend, and just at the right height. Good ball in. We need the same again from the left side. Good in swinger. I'd like to see somebody at the near post to flick that on, but I guess we're not going to get that.
Steve Nash Sports Club corner, whipped into the near post. Good clearance away. Kramelmeyer watching Nash. Gordon Chin chips it to the top of the box, flipped through, and hammered away again by Rusin. All the way through to Knight, who nods it into midfield. 2 Whitecap players going after it. James, he's got BK wide of him. James pulled down. Kramelmeyer comes up with the ball. No foul given. Bundu, watched by Hirano. And Palladini looking for Gardner, who's dangerous, and the flag goes up on Josh Gardner.
Offside there, really should never be offside there, Josh Gardner. He can look right across the line and see who the last defender is, and what he's done is he's not concentrated and not had a quick look up and been caught offside. Really, that's criminal for me, for the winger. It frustrates me, and I certainly let my players know that they've got to look along the line and make sure where they are.
Nice touch from BK. Toure, can he do another run of trickery as he gets to the outside along the deck, all the way through? Lyle Martin couldn't get around on it. And again, Gardner will slam it forward. Bundu with a great first touch. Swerves his man. Up steps Pozniak. He charges forward. Chris Pozniak, he's got Toure wide. Anzu Toure on his left foot. Toure gets to the outside, onto his right foot. Toure again onto his right, and tumbles to the ground just a little too much. Nash is there to get the ball back as we are into stoppage time, and we're adding 4 minutes. 4 minutes for the Whitecaps to try to salvage the 3 points they desperately need in this playoff fight. Top 7 get in the USL 1. It'll be a Martin Nash throw on the far side.
Just that final little ball in from Toure there would have made the difference. He's twisted and turned and tried to get something, get a bit more space, and really in the end lost his footing and got nothing out of it. Need to get the ball in the box for the big guys to work on.
West Knight will take this, another long throw. And that has a lot of height on it. It's headed away by Shields. and then helped through into midfield, and look out now as Chin manages to keep it Whitecap possession. Hammered back through, knotted down by Schulte, who's been a monster tonight for Carolina. We talked about him off the top, how much experience he brings, but he's been excellent tonight as Lyle Martin intervenes there and finds Knight. Wes Knight, right-footed ball, drifts through, flicked on, BK in the penalty area. Marlon James, then BK. Here's Lyle Martin, a great save by Patterson. BK, handle it! Oh, it went wide for a goal kick. What a terrific chance for the Whitecaps there.
Well, a couple of good chances there. It's Marlon James in the thick of things again with the first chance, with the ball played back in. Charles BK in. Here's the first chance, Marlon James. He looks, he turns. It's a good strike from Lyle Martin actually, but look at BK in for the header. The goalkeeper's complaining he's got his elbow up, but his arm's up there, and he's just trying to block him off to get in. The ball's up, the goalkeeper's actually done well, but unlucky Charles BK. That's on target. I think it's a goal.
I'll tell you what, too, Charles BK, what a terrific layoff for Lyle Martin. He shaped up like he was going to shoot it, froze everybody, and then just had the right kind of weight on it for Lyle Martin, who really stepped into it, but straight at the goalkeeper, and everything's been pretty much straight at Patterson tonight. As we are in stoppage time, 2.5 minutes played of the 4. Whitecaps trying to get 3 points and get themselves a little closer to a USL 1 playoff spot. Toure keeps possession against Kramelmeyer. Beautifully onto his right, then onto his left. Whips it in. Here comes BK! Punched away and a foul on the goalkeeper. As BK went in on the goalkeeper, and he needs to probably calm down.
BK's after the referee complaining. He just needs to keep quiet and get on with the game. You know, he's been in trouble with the referees before. He's just got to get on with the game. The referee's not going to change his mind.
And he has a point for argument there, but you're right. He wasn't going to change his mind, the referee. As Carolina carries on. Again, it's Josh Gardner on the near side. Ooh, and Wes Knight missed it. Now look out. Here comes Gardner into the penalty area. Gardner in front, and it's knocked away. And Lyle Martin will shape up underneath it. Back it goes to Pedgic, and that's off and out for Carolina throw. We are 3.5 minutes into the 4. Dave Ganter has a look at his watch, and I think this will be a better result for Carolina than for Vancouver, although Carolina's chasing that first spot too. Portland winning tonight, Puerto Rico winning tonight against Montreal. The Whitecaps having a chance to overtake the Impact. Is there one final chance? Through ball, Marlon James on the end of it. James against Schulte. Has a go, but it floats into the south side, and that should do it. The Whitecaps with 3 glorious chances in this game, and that man was behind 2 of them.
Yeah, his effort there. He just didn't get his body swung around enough to get on the ball and get it onto the target. Hurried the shot a little bit, and he's missed a target by a fair whack there. It looks like it's going to be goalless tonight. Fairly entertaining though. Chances either end. The Whitecaps, the better of the chances. But still, no goals for sure for the work tonight.
And the task gets tougher with 2 big road games coming up for the Whitecaps. Dave Ganter sounds the final whistle. No shortage of entertainment, but it's a final. Whitecaps 0, Carolina Railhawks 0, and that man was partially responsible for that scoreline. USLsoccer.com is the place to watch the Whitecaps on Tuesday night as they head back to WakeMed Soccer Park, and you can get all the Whitecaps standings and USL stats at USLsoccer.com. Whether you're a player, fan, coach, parent, or administrator, the USL salutes your involvement in the game. They know you play with passion as Martin Nash shakes hands. Bundu with some handshakes. He didn't have a lot to do here in the second half as a substitute. And Tater Torderson is not happy with that first half call, as he probably had a look at halftime at the highlights we were showing and was wondering why Marlon James's effort did not count. Anzu Toure making a bit of a difference too here in the second half as he came on. Nice to see him back from injury, but there's the man who will probably toss and turn a little bit tonight, Marlon James, who had a couple of real sitters that he just could not put past Patterson. And there's another player who needs a tip of the hat, as Calfin made his Whitecap debut and certainly impressed.
Well, I think tonight, Peter, one of the positives you've got to look at is the back four look really steady. You know, they've been criticised in the past, and we've had so many changes that there's not been any continuity. But for the first time out for that back four, I think they look fairly steady, and they really never looked like they're under any pressure. So that's a credit to Chris Posniak and and Pedgick coming in. They've Sean Pedgick, I thought, had a good game tonight for his first game. He's just one of those. He never looks like he's in trouble. He looked comfortable in everything he did. But the four along the back looked fairly steady, and that's a positive. As long as you're not giving goals away, there's a chance you can win games.
We'll have a look at some of those highlights and wrap things up from Swangard Stadium. Save on Foods Whitecaps Soccer on Shaw, ending Whitecaps 0, Carolina Railhawks 0. We'll have more in just a moment.
Welcome back to Save on Foods Vancouver Whitecaps Soccer on Shaw TV. Just being joined by Gordon Chin. How frustrating was this one? It seemed like there was so many opportunities to try to find that goal you needed.
Yeah, I mean, very frustrating. I think I had my hands up in the game 2 times claiming that we had a goal. I like to see the one that Marlon had in the first half because, we all thought it was over the line, but we don't get to see the replay. So I'm sure we'll be really frustrated when we get to home and see it.
Can you take some positive out of this, that your team is playing this well at this point in the season?
For sure. I mean, I think we've been playing well for the last few games. Even Portland, Charleston, we didn't get the results we lost, but, we're playing well. So as a team, I think that makes us positive. And going into Carolina, we're going to be all over them. We're hopefully going to play exactly the same and put some balls in the back of the net.
What did you learn about them tonight that you can try to exploit in the next game?
I mean, I think we already knew. They're a good team. They pass the ball, but if we do what we do right, we high press and pass the ball and look to get it wide and get crosses and create chances that way. I don't think many teams can handle us, so hopefully we can do that again on Tuesday and get a win.
As teammates, do you need to give Marlon James a bit of a pep talk after some of the opportunities?
No. Not at all. I mean, he's a veteran player. He knows. I mean, he had a few chances, and on any other day, he probably would have had a hat trick. But, unlucky, unfortunate for us today that wasn't the case.
Well, thank you for this. And the 0-0 draw. Gordon Chin, his thoughts after the game. Thanks very much. We'll hand it back up to Peter and Alan to get their thoughts on the game.
I'd be impressed with Gordon Chin, just how well-spoken he is and how much a part of the team he is right now. You have to congratulate him for that.
He's a good little pro. He's a good player. He's been a good player all the time, He's. I think you've got to give him a lot of credit for still being involved in the game. He's a good lad and a good player, and well done, Mr. Chin.
All right, let's have a look at the BC Hydro Power Smart full-time stats. And Charles Biquet with a terrific header here after Anzu Torre's perfect little left-footed cross. Just an inch lower, it might have been a goal. And look at Marlon James. He just wasn't prepared for that ball to come off the crossbar.
I think he's expecting it to go in, really, and you've really got to expect the worst. Hope for the best, expect the worst. Niall Martin should have done better with that. He's got a bit of time on that. And a great header from BK there, just off target.
And then one more look here as we thought that Schulte might have pulled James down. And there certainly were appeals there, but it's been a rough night for Marlon James, who had 2 sitters that he couldn't push over the line, and then that opportunity there. As we have a look at the province full-time stats after a Whitecap Carolina 0-0 final. And no scoring, of course. Thanks for watching here tonight. We're going to wrap things up in just a moment. Save on Foods Whitecaps Soccer on Shaw.
As we say goodnight, we'd like to remind you our next broadcast will be Sunday, August 23rd. Vancouver Whitecaps hosting Miami FC Blues. It's a 4 o'clock start time on that game. For tickets or anything Whitecaps, you can check out their website, whitecapsfc.com, or call 604-280-4400. Once again, a 0-0 draw between the Vancouver Whitecaps and Carolina Railhawks. On behalf of Peter Shad, Alan Arrington, I'm Kristen Reed. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you August 23rd.